Welcome back to the PlayVS 2021 Fall Finals for the AHSAA. We apologize about the technical difficulties as they figure out exactly how to get all these players set up. They want to make sure that everything is fair, and we absolutely love that. But none of this would be made possible without our sponsor, Eplex. And so we want to say a special thank you to Eplex. Eplex is your local esports and virtual reality complex featuring the Clutch Cafe. Play, train, and compete in tournaments and leagues for all ages and all skill levels. Eplex offers memberships, gaming lock-ins, and launch parties for new games. So we welcome gamers to come out and game together at your local Eplex. And I absolutely love like places like that. I grew up going to cafes and LAN cafes and places like that where you were able to just get together with friends, especially over the last few years. It's definitely been something that I've been missing, is being able to get out and just have a lot of fun. So it's really awesome that they were able to sponsor this and kind of elevate the game of showing what it means to be able to come together and compete, game, and, you know, introduce people to some of that. So that's a positive thing. As we're getting all the players figuring out into the lobby, we are getting ready to do this. And again, this is the AHSAA Championship Finals. And two teams have gone at it all the way through. As we look at the bracket, it's going to be between the BJHS Fusion and the Black Bears. The BJHS Fusion, they are the #1 seeds going against the #3 seed in the Black Bears, kids.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, the BJHS Fusion had a pretty tough path here on their way through, even having to beat a fellow school team in the BJHS Red. So a 1-3 matchup is just about as good as you can get. Both of these teams are going to be looking really solid coming through. And we have a couple of things to look forward to. I mentioned it going into the break. A lot of things that we've seen over the last few days in these state championships are the big counterattacks and counter plays that are going to keep teams into it. So how do you expect, Doc, some of these teams to try and stop that? Do you think they're going to play a little bit more conservatively in the goal, or try and come out early in these first two games and just all out attack?
Yeah, and so something I've seen though so far in these tournaments, this is what I have absolutely enjoyed, especially the last few state champions we've seen. Some of the things that have taken place is the rotation control of the boost. Do you get midfield control of that midfield boost, and then are you able to creep up and take the opposition's boost? If you're able to get into that zone on the attack and keep the ball from being able to be long cleared or even just short cleared out or controlled, it makes it so difficult to even get an offensive shot on goal for your opposition. So that is sometimes the best defense, is just a good offense and then good containment. If you contain it past that midfield line, you just take away all those free opportunities. The one thing that you can give up is that long booming, you know, shot from a box that just errantly goes off the wall and is on target. But you give up those sometimes, and if you're getting shots on goal, it's Rocket League, right? It's a game of momentum. So the more shots on goal, the more they fall. And here we go. Game #1 in this best of 7 series. And Skids, I am so excited to get going as we're finally underway.
And we do see Black Bears already bringing that ball to the offensive side. BJHS Fusion going to be on the orange, and Black Bears rocking the white. We've seen a couple early kickoff goals so far, but luckily nothing here that is going to go awry. 30 seconds on in here. Both teams just trying to figure out, get a little bit of momentum, and with a couple of technical difficulties in the LAN, maybe not get all the practice that they may have wanted before this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the technical difficulties happen. You know, you talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast, right? You have so much that goes on. It's not your setup. It's not your, own area. It's not your desk. It's not your monitor or, PC the way that you have run it, or console if you're running it on console. So that is definitely something to kind of keep an eye on as you see them just kind of going back and forth. A minute already gone down in this game one. You kind of want to feel it out. That was a shot opportunity, but a really good save and then moving through. You see Lunar is there kind of popping things up. And if that's the Lunar that I'm thinking about, we've seen a Lunar play extremely high levels of Rocket League, so I'm excited to keep an eye on him. It might be just a coincidence of the name, but at the same time, talk about a player who has shined on all the areas of this competitive game.
And we've already seen Lunar coming out swinging. A minute and a half in so far, not a goal yet on the board. Pretty even control, and we've already seen everyone already looks pretty comfortable going up for the aerials. Haven't seen much in terms of missed contact. Everyone seems to be ready to roll, and when you have to play, this is what, your 5th game in the bracket in a best of 32, you're gonna have everything dialed in by the end of this season here as Fish looking for the clear. We saw some good offense here for BJHS. They tried to chip one over, and I believe it was Hiroki here that chipped it up to Luna to try and knock it down just a little bit ago. And so we're seeing great momentum, and not just ball chasing, but also passing, which is going to be huge in this series.
It definitely is. BJH is kind of moving back and forth, and I like the rotations on defense, getting back, and then you see him play that off the wall to kind of clear it out all the way to the midfield. Deech is doing a good job of keeping it, though. That containment that I was talking about, right? The midfield containment. Can they keep it on their attacking zone as Hiroki now tries to get it cleared out, but instead it just kind of glances off the front tire and bounces backwards a little bit, but Fish is there to clear this out. Gonna pick up that full boost. Nice little handles, a nice pass to his teammate, as that is gonna get disrupted and kicked out into the corner. But a good offensive attack from BJH.
Yeah, great discipline there from Deech to stay back. BJHS had all the boosts in their name, a 2-1 advantage, but unfortunately could not connect, as now they're going to try again. And Lunar with a shot from the corner. We've seen Black Bears, and specifically, they've been looking like a lot of their shots have been off of centering potential, like we see one right here, and not a lot coming on the corner. Let's see if Lunar can connect on this aerial. A miss there from Black Bears, and Lunar with the amazing aerial control to get as many touches as possible. And you see right here, NBA, unfortunately, it looked like he went for the car, but ended up missing the path, and Lunar chipping it right over him. That's that boost control you were talking about. You need at least about 60 to 70 there to make that kind of play.
And a 1-goal lead now with 1:33 remaining in this game one. It is a best of 7, so they can give up, one of these games and not be in a dire situation. But if you're BJHS, the Fusion right now are kind of running it at all cylinders, trying to kind of apply this pressure. You see Fish coming off the wall. That's a nice little floating center. It also gives time for his teammates to get in position, and that could have been a very great shot. There's another centered ball. Deech trying to clear it out. Finally, that's going to bounce all the way down, but again, the defense and the rotation of Fusion squad is just so good right now with under a minute remaining. It is just a 1-goal game as of right now, so the Black Bears still fighting to maybe give us a little bit of extra time here in this first game of this best of 7.
Black Bears looking to get something moving here, but who else but Lunar to get the ball out into the center here, bringing it back out by just a smidge, looking like a little good old classic reset as Fish is coming in, bringing it back. Lunar has been dominating so far on that attacking front. I believe he has 4 shots already on goal. One of them has gone in, and Black Bears haven't had much of an opportunity to create an attacking front here. They've been more focused on the defensive side and clearing the ball out, which is just fine. It's okay. You got about 15 seconds left here. Can they swing something? And we do get the shot on goal, but Lunar in the perfect place. He's in the good place on offense and on defense. We got 6 seconds left. Black Bears got to get the ball up in the air. 2 seconds. BJHS just knock it down, and you're going to take game number 1. Playing off the wall. Shot bounces off the backboard, but a clear, and BJHS escapes that one. Black Bears almost able to connect with the game-tying goal, but BJHS come out on top by a score of 1-0.
And when you're working it through on a best of 7 series, for that to go as long as it did without a goal, finally that one dropped in for the Fusion. It's really impressive, the defense that took place, and then also the continuation of the rotation. And one of the things that I saw the Black Bears do was they did rotate well up until that goal was scored, basically on a long just follow through shot, beating out the defense. But I think going into this game 2, we're going to see some of that response. You have the ability to kind of feel it out now. Maybe it is just land jitters and getting things kind of squared away. You're starting to feel it. It's coming back, exactly how you've prepped and practiced. And now Lunar going up and is going to demo Lil Korean already. I mean, that was a big time aerial demo as Fish tries to kind of control it in the midfield. A great job so far just to get out of that danger zone, with Lunar coming up really with another shot, as they just haven't given Black Bears a chance to kind of reset. I feel like the Black Bears are still scrambling to get set up.
Yeah, when it's been super even this entire matchup so far, it's going to come down to who is going to be the player to step up and win the game for your team. BJHS had Lunar that had a one breakaway play with beautiful aerial control. And now Black Bear is going to look for that guy who's going to be stepping up. Is it going to be NBA? Is it going to be Deech? Is it going to be Lil Korean? We're going to have to just find out here. And Black Bear needs to get more on the attacking side, as Fish with a great clear that ended up turning into a nice shot. But Deech was there to save. And NBA Joe Boy here out of the corner. Can he get a counter attack going with Deech chipping it back up? Fortunately, not much going on there for their side, but it looked like BJHS had most of the attacking control in game number one. So Black Bear, get yourself a couple of shots and one of them's bound to fall through.
Yeah, that's what they are doing a pretty decent job. But what I really like about Fusion is they're attacking those corners to not allow the ball to even be centered to get a shot on goal. They're disrupting the passes before the shots. And that is a big, frustrating deal when you're trying to get an open look and you're constantly getting car bumped or getting demoed, and it's not giving you the chance to set up the look that you're looking for. But we're 2 minutes into this game. It's 0-0, so reminiscent of game one, a very close fought battle. A lot of defense going back and forth, and now you see Hiroki going up for it, tries to pass it over, but instead Lil Korean is going to take that away, but that's going to be taken away by Lunar. It's just a back and forth ping pong match right now.
Yeah, you mentioned the demos a little bit ago, and we haven't really seen too much of them yet. We've seen about one or two, but they have come at pretty big moments. So if we don't have to get a full demo, but if we can get a little bit of defensive bumping the car off the ball and getting a redirect that way, that would be really good for them. And Lunar trying to chip that one in just off the right post, and no one there to follow it up for BJHS. Lunar was trying to make a play, but didn't have any follow through. And now the rebound off the right side. Epic save here by Lil Korean. BJHS still on the attacking side. Can they get it in on this third one here? Coming up from above, just a bit too high off the crossbar. And BJHS just will not give up. Black Bears, great defensive stand so far. Waiting to get that clear here.
I mean, the Black Bears have literally just created this stone wall effect. They have blocked everything that Fusion has brought at them. BJHS has done everything they can to get the 1, the 2, the 3 shots, the 4 shots, and the 5 shots, just continuing back and forth. And finally, that is going to drop from Lunar off of the top bar. And when you see how many shots at the end of this game, how many shots they had on goal, the impressive defense by Black Bears to withstand that many shots and only give up 1 goal with 140 remaining. They are still in this.
Yeah, Black Bears got to keep that bend, don't break mentality. It's okay that you let up 1 goal there. It took Lunar 5 shots in and of himself to even get it in there, not to mention any other shots from Roki or the rest of the team. And if you're Black Bear, it's totally fine. Just hit a reset. You guys are doing great on offense. You just need 1 to go your way here. Great little chip in there from NBA, and Hiroki able to get that epic save. I really love that pass that they just tried there.
Yeah, it's an impressive movement. I like this. Lunar picked up that midfield boost and then backed up on defense, waiting for that long clear. And now we're creeping into the final 60 seconds of this game too. And really, Lunar's playing back a little bit more and more patient. Watch him just kind of take this out. He's got a lot of boost. He's going to control this over. There comes the demo. And now Lunar with a shot on the open goal. A perfectly planned play is just executed even better.
Yeah, that's the teamwork that you're looking for. You get a lot of guys, especially when you're playing a random fill situation, they're going to try and snake that goal from you. You have a 2-on-1 situation. Great play for the attacking side there to come in and get that big demo. Just mentioned it at the beginning of this game. We haven't seen much, but that tactical demo there, you know that Lunar can dribble it all the way, and he did just that. Just needed a little bit of help from the team, and BJHS showing us right now why they are the #1 seed.
35 seconds remaining. Another demo comes through on Fish this time. Deech tries to get this cleared out, but instead is met with an opposition of 2 defenders. And now Fish on the attack, just keeping it cleared. And I like this. They're eating up the time, but they're also keeping it in their attacking zone, which, I mean, you can't really get too many shots in that attacking zone. And now Hiroki, that's going to go just high. And Jaboy is able to clear that into the corner. The final 10 seconds are ticking off the clock. And it's looking like BJHS is going to walk away with this game 2 as well, moving to a 2-game lead in this best of 7. But again, a close game. It's not like it was necessarily a blowout by any means. The way that the Black Bears were playing defense, it's amazing that it's not 7-0. I mean, the amount of shots, look at that, 7 shots from Lunar there. Just from Lunar alone, like when you think of how many shots that they were able to block, epic save, keep from getting into the box, keep from going into the back of the net, they are there. They just need to find a way to get some of that offensive attack going along with it.
Yeah, Black Bears doing a phenomenal job on defense. Some of the best defense that we've seen throughout this past week of state championship play. And like you said, just a little bit more offense. You don't need too much. Just create a couple more shots. BJHS has been dominating the shot total in terms of shots taken versus Black Bear. And with that, they are also extending all 3 players up into the attacking zone. So if Black Bear can get a little bit of a chip, most of their stops come as short stops, allowing for those second chance opportunities. If you can turn it from giving them a second chance shot to a clear where you then create some offense out of it, that's going to be a big play here. So we are loading up into game number 3 here. BJHS up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, best of 7 series. So really, Black Bears can still fight their way back in and force that game 5, 6, and 7 if they needed to. They could take this honestly in game 6 if they were able to walk away with the next 4 wins. But you see, Fish, I like this play. It's not committing over the midfield line. It's controlling that midfield boost and then making sure that, hey, I know what I need to do. And it's the do your job mentality, right? If you're communicating with your team and they say, hey, do you have this midfield line? You say yes. That means you don't overcommit and come up unless they ask for help. That means you know what you're doing, as that's a great shot by Jaboy, but it's meant by the defense of its Fish. And Fish is playing on offense and defense right now so incredibly well, along with his teammates Hiroki and Lunar. And if you're the Black Bears, you're doing a good job of creating a lot more offense. We've seen it in their offensive zone. Now they just got to get a couple more shots on goal, and one is bound to fall. Now Lunar on the attack in that zone. I like that attack. Jaboy was able to attack the corner instead of allow that to get centered. But again, Hiroki just clearing it into the corner. Again, Deech now tries to get it cleared out. Jaboy gets it cleared along with his teammate, Little Korean. I mean, literally, this is going back and forth as that shot goes wide. Is Hiroki going to be able to center this up? A little flip, pause, nice little move there, but that's going to go a little bit high. Lunar now tries to take another shot. That's going to be met by the card, not the ball. And you just see them working back and forth and back and forth. This is a shot on goal, but a big save by Lunar. And Skids, when I'm looking at these two teams, we're 2 minutes into game 3 and it's 0-0. They're so evenly matched. Just really, Black Bears haven't had any second chances.
Yeah, they've tried a lot of centering shots. I talked about it a little bit off the first game and the beginning of game 1. They're trying to get the ball into the center and punch one in there. That doesn't allow too many second chance opportunities because BJHS is set up so well for a clear. And one thing that Lunar and BJHS especially are doing so well is taking it from afar and getting those aerial dribbles throughout the entire course, not relying on the setup and easy chip in goals. So if you're Black Bear, you're getting some good offense in game 3 compared to that games 1 and 2, but you're going to need a little bit more in terms of spreading it out and changing up your pace, because if you're predictable in that sense of center shoot, BJHS is going to drop back, and that gives them plenty of time to drop back.
Yeah, they're creating a lot more spacing too. You see this, I mean, we're 3 minutes in. This is a shot that's going to go a little bit higher. Lunar is playing deeper in that midfield, and now he's got an open goal shot. Beats the 1v1.
He just missed.
I mean, that was an incredible pause right here. You see Lunar recognizing Deech can't get to it, and then plays it just in front instead of behind. It plays it just in front and puts it in the close short side of the goal. And now BJHS is just 154 away from taking game 3 in this best of 7 series, as Hiroki wasting no time off the kickoff. You see just the errant ball come a little bit floating up, and you see Hiroki chase it down while the two defenders are trying to get the corner boost. They can't get back in time, and now a 2-goal lead with 151 remaining.
That's the kind of goal that you want Black Bears to get to try and even this series up. And it's a 50-50 play, whether you go for the boost or whether you just try and save on the opening kickoff there. And the ball fell perfectly for BJHS. Hiroki able to chip that one in the middle in an open net. So unfortunate for Black Bears that fell against them. But they are still not out of it yet. A minute 30 here, and NBA Jaboy trying to chip one in there. And they're playing a lot more passive defense. I don't know if this is a mid-game adjustment or a game 3 adjustment, but I haven't seen as much of 2 to 3 players coming up on the attack. And even though they're dropping back, Hiroki is able to air dribble it through, and Jaboy doesn't get much of a good contact on the clear. Korean whiffing there, and then Hiroki with a nice pause to chip over. That's just 2 or 3 Black Bear players that seem to be playing a little bit on tilt, possibly just trying to get a little bit too aggressive with it, not connecting like they have been. And if they can just tidy up some of that, they'll be solid for this game number 4.
105 remaining. I mean, you see when it rains, it pours, and BJHS has really found a rhythm to kind of counteract the great defense of the Black Bears. When you look at game 1, it was a 1-0 game, and it was very, very close. Even game 2, a very, very close game. Even though it was 2-0, we saw so many shots. It should have been 7-0, to be honest, the amount of shots that the Fusion squad had on the goal.
Oh, that was
with another
dirty.
Great move. And you see Lunar's just starting to feel it, the warm-up, the picking up that boost, and then being able to dribble it through the air, and just recognizing the player went for the car, not the ball. And in that situation, it's tough, because if you go for the ball, who knows where that rebound is going to go, and which teammate is going to kind of pick that up. 32 seconds remaining, and the Fusion squad is just playing lights out right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you got guys like Lunar and Hiroki and even Fish as well that can just take an air dribble and take command of the offensive front, they're not relying on anything. And now an overextend here from Jaboy. Just another, I think that's a hat trick here for Hiroki, picking up his third. 5-0 for BJHS. They're just trying to get something here. You need a little bit of a goal. Just get yourself on the board, get your mental reset. But 16 seconds left. Just breathe. You got that land going on. I'm sure there's some emotions running high, yelling across the monitors, and you know how hyped some of these land events can get. So Black Bears, you're going to be a 3-0 deficit here, but reverse sweeps have happened before. Get yourself that aerial control, get a little bit better on the attacking side, and changing up how you're bringing those attacking fronts. And this game 4 could start to bring that momentum shift back your way.
Yeah, when you're looking at the amount of goals that were scored in this game alone, I mean, you're doubling up the goals that were scored in the previous 2 games and more. It's kind of crazy. Once they got a little bit hot, BJHS just kind of started running away with it. Fusion and Hiroki playing so incredible, and their movement together, their communication together, kind of opened up those second and third shot opportunities, as well as just winning their 1v1s. And the control that they showed there. Now going into game 4, they have the opportunity to be crowned the AHSAA champions of the PlayVS 2021 fall season. But on the other side, Black Bears, you got to get back to that game 1 defense, the game 1 and 2 defense, and then you got to basically go for it, right? You don't have the ability to drop this game. You have to fight for it in order to force game 7 and stay alive. You're going to have to force game 5 and 6 first by playing that defense, controlling that movement, and getting a shot on goal. As game 4 is now underway, we are 5 minutes away to see if we're walking into a game 5 or if we're going to wrap things up and BJHS will be crowned the AHSAA champions.
Yeah, for Black Bears to even try to get this into a next game. Oh my goodness, Lunar almost took that coast to coast. Let a nice little defensive stop there. And if I'm looking back at my notes from the first 2 games, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't have any goals on the Black Bears side. It's 1-0, then 2-0, then 5-0 there for BJHS. So not only do you have to get more than BJHS does, you got to just get yourself on the board in general.
Yeah, and I think that comes from those early games too. Some of the missed opportunities and maybe the lack of aggression, playing very, very solid defense, but not being able to get those extra shots on goal or the offensive shots that you wanted. That's where that comes from, because I think they can get goals in the back of the net. They just were so focused on the defensive side of things because of the attack of Lunar and Hiroki and Fish, as Deep with an amazing save. I mean, the defense, you gotta credit Black Bears for their defense. I mean, they've played so well. Their rotations to get back, their rotations in the box, and their rotations in the goals. It's impressive. But if you only play defense and you never play offense, you're not going to be able to win, because eventually you are going to drop one goal here or there. And if you're not making up that goal difference, it's going to end up being like game 1 and game 2 and even game 3, where it was 1-0, 2-0, and then 5-0.
Yeah, you can't really create much offensive efficiency if you're just in that park the bus setting if you're Black Bears. But Lunar again has shown us why he's so dominant with that aerial control. And luckily for Black Bears, Deech was able to come back on that quick shot just a little bit ago. Now Fish trying to create some offensive efficiency here, and Lunar, you do see them, Black Bears that is, getting a little bit more antsy, bringing themselves out a little bit more around the box, but that does leave a little bit more of an open goal. You have to make that sacrifice though. If you haven't put yourself on the board yet, and you need to get at least one game here, you got to start taking sacrifices. You're 2.5 minutes into this game number 4, an elimination game. This is for the state championship here if they can't produce. And now Lil Korean, good little play off the wall. That's what we're looking to see, some more corner plays and off the wall, as opposed to just the centering style offense that we've been talking about through this series.
Yeah, and I've noticed too the use of the Dominus versus the Octane, right? The bigger hitbox allows for great defense, and it does allow for some power shots, but if you're not taking those power shots, it kind of takes away the agility that the Octane has. And I love the Christmas hat, and I love the decked out view there, as that's going to be a demo, and that shot goes just wide. I thought that was going to actually fall in. 2 minutes remaining in this game 4. It's 0-0 again, so it does feel like it's a closer game than we've seen. This is more reminiscent of game 1, but here Hiroki playing off Lunar, and that's just a beautiful setup. You see Lunar just kind of tap it to his teammate and then make sure that he disrupts Jaboy from playing defense. I mean, that's heads up gameplay right there. And BJHS now with a 1-goal lead, 1:49 remaining. That is all they need to hang on to be crowned the AHSAA champions of this fall 2021 play versus season.
Yeah, you knew that goal was going to fall eventually here for BJHS. They've had some great attacking fronts, but just ran out of boost a few times. It was Lunar and Hirochi that had brought it to in the attacking third, and then just ran out of boost a little bit too much, allowing Black Bears to get the stops. But that time, they were able to finish it out. And now it's all the more pressure on Black Bears. If you haven't changed up anything yet, you gotta bring the dogs now. BJHS trying to just ice this away too. They're not gonna play conservative. They haven't played conservative all series. They're gonna try and just keep running up the score, give them even that much more comfort. And you know that they have to be chirping right now across those screens.
Oh, absolutely. That's part of the LAN experience, right? Once you see the frustration of the of opposition, you just know, okay, this is where we can kind of press it a little bit harder. We can calm this out, and we know that they're starting to be a little bit more frantic in their movements. You see Lunar just aerially floating this up and through off the corner post. I mean, that was so dangerous. Deech now with a great shot, but an incredible save by Hiroki. And I mean, talk about the defense of the Black Bears. Flip that over on BJHS. Their defense has been incredible all the way through, as Lunar puts a dagger in the hearts of Black Bears, now up 2-0. They have played so well on their defense to just shut out a 3 seed that has worked their way through this 32 team bracket and worked their way all the way into the finals.
Yeah, BJHS just making some quick work of this series. We're going to see ourselves a 4-0 most likely, unless Black Bears can string their first 2 goals here. But big shout out to just Lunar, who has been taking this series in his hands on the attacking front. But that's not to say it hasn't been a team effort, because Hiroki and the entire team, Hiroki actually punching one through there as well. That's his 2nd goal of the series. Also has a hat trick to his name in game number 3. So a total domination team effort for BJHS. Black Bears unable to connect there. We have 2 seconds left. Here comes the final kickoff as BJHS is going to be crowned your AHSAA state champions in a convincing 4-0 fashion.
I mean, the first 2 games were back and forth, 1-0 and 2-0. I thought that Black Bears were going to be able to hang. That defense was incredible. The way that they stopped so many shots on goal time and time again. But eventually, Lunar, Fish, and Hiroki just proved to be an absolute menace in the box, in the offensive zone, and on defense, shutting out the 3 seed, right? No goals allowed in this entire best of 7 series, 4 games, 0 goals to their opponent's name. That's an impressive feat, and just showing of the championship as we look at this final bracket. Congratulations to the BJHS Fusion squad right here, as they are your AHSAA champions.
Yeah, BJHS coming all the way through. They proved why they are the 1 seed. They showed absolute dominance. Black Bears, keep your heads held high. You guys did a phenomenal job. That defensive stand has been some of the greatest that we've seen for the amount of shots that were going through. That goaltending was brilliant. Great work, but you guys, you now have some improvements to work on. Absolutely phenomenal for making it this far. Docs, this has been a pleasure. A great cast again as well. Again, I am Skids. I'll join alongside Doxology. We've had an absolute blast today.
It's been such a blast, and that's going to do it for us from PlayVS. Like you said, that's going to be it. But don't go anywhere, because we are going to have League of Legends in just a moment. So if that's your thing, make sure you just refresh. We'll be back after this.
Shout out all my enemies, all the best. You can set me free, don't give me death, man. I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah, man, I'm on my way. Yeah, and I can do this all day, man. I'm on my way. Said I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah, and I can do this all day, man. I'm on my way. Said I'm on my way. Real life better than the internet. Keep what you been selling, I ain't into that. We are doing business, this is simple math.
Like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch Mount, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chatting the noise. And stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Nice keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. They'll tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch Mount, please use caution.